Good evening. Welcome back to another Mistwalkers video. Today we are talking all things Everfest. The Everfest set was released a couple days ago, and we're going to talk about each of the cards in the set. Starting off with the Brute class. The first card from Brute is Skull Crushers. Brute equipment: arms, majestic. Whenever you roll a 5 or 6 on a die, your Brute attacks gain +1 for the turn. When you roll a 1 on a die, destroy them. Battle worn. 1 defense. So many of the cards that we're going to see here for Brute were designed, or at least they seem to be designed, with the Blitz Hero KO in mind. Lots of die rolling, lots of high chance. Now, as a competitive player, I'm not much for chance. I try to eliminate as much of that as I can. But if you want a fun deck to play, KO is definitely fun to play. And Skull Crusher sort of embodies this. Now, is it better than Gambler's Gloves? Well, in KO, I don't think it is. KO rolls so many dice. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. KO rolls so many dice that Gambler's Gloves is only going to negate or fix 1 die roll. So you could run this if you wanted to. Now, the other thing about KO specifically is most of the time, if you're rolling good with KO, you're going to crush your opponent no matter if he gets the bonus from this or not. So I think the effect is interesting. I don't know how many Rhinar or Levia players are going to play this over Gambler's Gloves or, even Goliath Gauntlet. Next up is another majestic. This is Swing Big. 2 cost, red pitch, 8 damage, 3 defense. Brute attack action. If Swing Big doesn't hit, the defending hero creates a quicken token when the combat chain closes. So this is an amazingly high attack for 2 cost. And if it doesn't hit, then your opponent gets a quicken token. More than likely, if it doesn't hit, they're not going to have any cards left in hand. So having the quicken token's sort of a moot point, in my opinion. For the most part, in my opinion, I don't think it's going to matter that much. I expect Swing Big to be in just about any Brute deck that can handle it, because the drawback is very minimal. Ready to roll. This is a KO specialization. Blue pitch, 0 cost. If you would roll 1 or more dice this turn, instead roll that many dice +1 and then ignore their lowest roll. 3 defense and go again. So obviously this is here to lessen your terrible rolls with KO. If you're playing that Blitz deck, you're packing 2. Just straight up, no question. Next up is a Majestic Rolling Thunder. Cost 1, red pitch. Roll a 6-sided die. Your next Brute attack this turn gains plus X, where X is the number rolled. Go again. 3 defense. So, isn't as good as Barraging Beatdown, but what is? So this is a potential +1 to +6. I'd say if you're heavier into the die rolling aspect, particularly if you're using the KO specialization, being able to roll 2 dice and keep 1 on this would be very, very cool. But I think Blood Rush Bellows and Barraging Beatdown are still far superior pumps, particularly at their cost. Now this also does pump up your club or your claws, so that's also worth taking note of. Still, I think this is a really cool card. Just wish I could guarantee something bigger than a +1, because most of Brutes are massive. Next up, we're into the rares now. So we have High Roller, 0 cost, Base Intimidate. If you've rolled a 4, 5, or 6 this turn, you intimidate twice. Go again. And it comes in 3 flavors. The difference is the dice. So yellow is 5 or 6, and blue is just a 6. Now, there's no pump on this one. It is simply intimidate. Now, I don't yet know how many copies I'm going to try in my decks. But I like that it is a 3 block, 0 cost, that automatically intimidates something. I don't have to worry about, did I discard, have I discarded a card at random this turn to trigger Reinhar's ability or whatnot. So having just a base intimidate to get a card out of their hand may be good enough to be able to spam multiple of these in a turn. And if you happen to get one of those turns where I have to roll the Skin Leathers for extra actions, and you hit the number, then you also basically get a free whack at their hand, which definitely has its positives. Alright, now the commons. Bare Fangs, 2 cost, 6 attack for the red. When you attack with Bare Fangs, draw a card, then discard a card. If a card with 6 or more attack was discarded this way, Bare Fangs gained +2. Now, biggest problem with this card is no defense. And you're already more than likely running the red pulping. So, obviously there is a drawback to this. But 2 for 8 is really good, and 2 for 7 and 2 for even 6 for the blue is really good. So it may be worth looking at, seeing how many no defense brute cards you can put in your deck. And next up we have Wild Ride. So Wild Ride is a 2 for 6 in the red. When you attack with Wild Ride, draw a card, then discard a random card. If a card with 6 or more attack was discarded this way, it gains go again. So this again also has 0 defense. So obviously there's an opportunity cost of how many of these can you stick in your deck. Now this one, unlike Bear Fangs, is you can only run the red to trigger the 6 or greater. However, so this is actually going to be less slots in your deck. So again, if you're going to take the risk, make sure that you've planned out how this is going to go. I mean, I like trying to do some crazy stuff, so this will be fun. And of course, oops. Alright, the last card for Brute is Bad Beats. It's a 0 cost brute action. Roll a 6-sided die. If the number rolled is a 4, 5, or 6, the next brute attack action card you play this turn gains +5 attack, has go again, 3 defense. And then of course your other flavors is yellow is on a 5 or 6, and blue is only on a 6. So again, this is not a guaranteed pump, so there's definitely going to be some questions about, do I even want to run this card? My personal feeling with Bad Beats is the red one is the only one I would be interested in running, and even running that card, I'm missing half the time. So I think I'd rather stick with something like Primal Bellows, even though this doesn't cost an extra card. Awakened or Primal Bellows would probably be a better choice as a pump. Alright, so that is the end of the Brute section. Come back tomorrow when we talk about Guardian. Until next time, even in Wraith, there is no escape from the tiger.